Hello everybody, this is part 2 of the hidden word FRQ. Okay, just to recap, the question in this FRQ was essentially to write a program that would provide a hint based on a guess. Okay, so you're going to have a word that you're trying to guess, and then you're going to guess that a word, and then based on how similar they are, you'll get hints back. Okay, so let's take a look at the answer and we'll see what we came up with. Okay, so for this class, you were asked to write a whole class. So everything from the class definition, instance variables, constructors, and even the method. Okay, so let's start out with the constructor and the instance variables. Okay, again, the class name was given to you. They said it was hidden word. So make sure when they provide that in that different font that you use that exactly how they intended. The next part is the instance variable. Instance variable must always be private. Okay, always just default to that. If you leave that out, you're looking at a negative point. Not just not getting points awarded, but negative points. So don't miss out on that. The next thing to consider is the constructor. The constructor is always going to be the same name. That one's not always something that they highlight in the instructions. You just have to know it. So if it says to do a constructor and the name of the class is called hidden word, then your constructor should also be called hidden word. We are going to also pass in a temporary parameter. The parameter there I chose was a word, but it could be anything. It's going to be the word that they give us to. That's going to be the word that we initialize. Okay, so make sure you include all of that. Okay, so that's the constructor and the instance variable. The big chunk of this, though, comes in the get hint method. All right, so let's take a look at this. The get hint method, when you read through it, it said it was going to return a hint. That was going to be in the data type of string. So make sure this public string get hint is a very appropriate name. A matter of fact, it was told to you to use that with the change of font style. So again, we'll look out for those hints. We're also going to have a parameter here for the string guess. This guess could have been called anything, but since we have a guess and a hint, it's really important that you name these words appropriately so you can differentiate between the strings that we're doing. Okay, first up, we're going to make a local variable string hint equals empty string. So just two quotes, and that's going to make it empty. It's kind of like a placeholder. Anytime you have values here in your return type, just go ahead and make a local variable that's going to return the answer. We know we have to return an answer, so just go ahead and make it a point to start with the string or whatever local variable at the beginning. Also at the bottom, you'll notice that it says return hint. Make a habit too, especially if you're typing out this, you can do the top and the bottom almost instantly. Okay, the next thing we need is a for loop. For this loop, we're going to start at the beginning of the word and end at the length. So this one's pretty much always going to be the case for when you're dealing with strings, because the first value of a string is 0 and the end of it is always its length. So it doesn't matter if you choose the guess. I guess it does matter if you choose the guess or the hint, but definitely just choose appropriately there, and we're going to increment by 1 to take it character by character. Okay, so now we're getting into our if statements. There were 3 segments, so notice how I have an if, else if, and an else. The first one required us to check if the substring was equal, the letter of the guess was equal to the letter of the word. Okay, so when you look at these, again, it's just taking it the substring at the I, comma, I plus 1, so it's 1 at a time. First time through the loop, it's going to be the 0 letter. Second time through the loop, it's going to be the 1 letter. And we're just going to check to see if they got each letter correct at that very same position. Be sure that you're using the equals method Equals is appropriate to use when you're using words or letters. Equal is not appropriate when you're using letter, only in math. Okay, so what if that is true? Well, what we're going to do is take the empty hint and we're going to add in the actual guess that we provided. You could also, again, provide the word because it's the same, but if you just go with a guess here, it's going to be very, very easy. Okay, well, what if the letter wasn't correct? Well, then the next option is to see if it is in there. What we want to do to see if it's in there is just use index of. Index of is a quick way to tell if the word is in the word. The letter is in the word. A quick way to do this, again, is just to test if it is not equal to -1. That means it is equal to something that is in the word. Okay, so remember, index of returns -1 if it's not found. You could also test to see if it is greater than 0. Greater than or equal to 0, actually. That means that it's in there somewhere. So if that's the case, we'll add a plus. And then finally, else means it's neither 1 nor 2. So it's not the same letter. It's not in there anywhere. So the only option there is just to mark an asterisk, and that's the hint to say it's not included. Okay, that does it for the hint class. Here's some other hints. Again, the hints I think I covered as we went through it. Always create a local variable. It's going to help you out. If there's a return type, it really is just the easy way to not forget. For strings, for loops are going to start at 0 and use the length method to find where it ends. That's always going to be true unless you're doing consecutive letter comparisons, which that would end a letter early. Okay, when you're using the if, again, you're using substring methods to separate that out. Use equals to make sure you're checking for equality. The else if is doing index of. And here's another note. Make sure you're not making changes to the guess itself. Strings are immutable, so if you make changes to that parameter value, it actually won't be saved. So that's an issue there. All right, so here is the complete answer. Again, it's definitely something I believe you could type out in less than 20 minutes, but it also means that you need to be able to think about it. So just continue practicing with these, but this has all of the requirements that could be asked on the 2020 AP exam. Hope this helps.